Here they want the main purpose, and I love that those choices are so short. That's great. So this is the main idea question. Jazz tap is a dance form that was first developed in African-American communities. Jazz tap was heavily influenced by jazz music, which became widely popular in the United States in the 1920s. Tap dancers were inspired by jazz music's quick rhythms and by the way jazz musicians would make up melodies as they played. As jazz music continued to develop in the 1930s and 1940s, jazz tap evolved with it. Because of jazz music's influence, jazz tap quickly developed into a dance from that form that was very different from earlier kinds of tap dance. I mean, oh my God, they say the word jazz more times. This is about jazz. Jazz music, jazz tap, they go together like peanut butter and jelly. So let's take a look. It explains why audiences prefer some kinds of music over others. Well, unless that music is jazz, they don't do that, right? They only talk about jazz music here, so no. It discusses the development of a dance form. What's the dance form? Jazz tap. How did it develop? I guess from jazz music. That seems pretty good. Notice I don't use jazz in the choice. That doesn't bother me because, I'm not attached to the nouns. I'm attached to the meanings and the relationships. C, it describes how to play a musical instrument. What instrument? How do you play it? First of all, tap is not an instrument. It's a shoe, right? It's a tap shoe and you dance. So, nope. D, it emphasizes the popularity of a famous dancer. Who's the famous dancer? So look, I don't think we're, really in some danger here with this question. I think this is pretty straightforward, but I love to say things like main ideas or repeated ideas. And oh boy, did we have some repeated ideas here, right? Jazz tap was influenced by jazz music. Tap dancers tap was inspired by jazz musics, right? As jazz music continued to develop, jazz evolved with it, right? Because of jazz music's influence, jazz tap, blah, 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 right? The whole passage was just them repeating that same idea over and over again. They could have given me one sentence and I would have known exactly what this thing was about. So, take these opportunities as they come. But remember too, that even the harder passages are kind of working the same way. It won't be as obvious, but it's kind of the same principle. Main ideas are repeated ideas. So if you see things that seem to keep popping up, they're probably important.